Hey, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the brand new book, Paola Santiago and the River of Tears. This is by Taylor Kim Mejia. I butcher her name, I'm sorry. This is another Rick Riordan Presents book. This came out fairly recently, August. It came out last month. So this book was pitched as a Curse of La Llorona book, right? We have La Llorona right here on the cover. This is a great cover. You got Paola Santiago, who's referenced as Pao all the time. She's got some kind of flashlight. She's showing us on this disembodied hand coming out of a river. Everything is green and creepy. In the description, La Llorona's mentioned. Rick Riordan does his little, blurb of welcome to this story kind of thing in a Rick Riordan Presents book. He mentions La Llorona. So this book is pitched as a La Llorona book, right? The last mainstream iteration of La Llorona we had was The Curse of La Llorona, which is part of the Conjuring franchise. Incredible horror movie. I absolutely loved it. It touched base on the origins of the wailing woman who drowned her children in the river. This book talks about two sons plus a girl, but other stories I'm familiar with is just about the two sons. Who knows? Now, this book reminded me a lot of Transformers 4, Transformers Age of Extinction. And why I say that is because, and I had to rewatch the review I did on it. Transformers Age of Extinction was pitched as a Dinobot movie, right? Grimlock was on the cover, on the poster, like they're in the trailer, and there's no Dinobots until the 2-hour and 13-minute mark of the 2-hour and 40-something minute long movie, right? So you got 30 minutes of Dinobots in a 2.5-hour movie. Makes absolutely no sense. Horrible marketing, right? Terrible. That's exactly what this book was. This book only had La Llorona about 60 pages left of the book. There's 350 pages left of this book. She did not pop up until, what, 280, 290, give or take? Out of 350 pages. Yeah, La Llorona, who's here, referenced in the cover printing right here. And the little thing that Rick does throughout all of this, right? A little blurb from Rick Riordan. It's about La Llorona. La Llorona's not in it until the last quarter of the book. I'm not happy with that. That's not good advertising on a book. I hated the first 3/4 of the book because it was just fluff. Getting to the La Llorona scenes, getting to the La Llorona battle scenes, right, in the underworld which she rules, which I thought was a weird twist. They do explain a little bit of it, but this book, man, I'm stuttering. I should have loved it way more than I did because of that horror aspect to it. It is a young adult book, but not at the same time, because all of the young adult books within the Rick Riordan Presents banner and Rick Riordan's books themselves are violent and real and amazing. So this is about Paola Santiago, 12 years old, lives in Arizona. She lives in an apartment complex. One of her best friends' name is Dante. He lives in the apartment complex as well. One of their best friends, Emma, is a very rich family who goes to a country club, but they all go to school together, so they're all three of a kind, right? They're all hanging out, but like they all know not to go to the River Gila because, a year ago, a classmate of theirs, Marissa, had disappeared in the river. And so Emma now disappears. So Paola and Dante are, facing off against racist cops, which is, all right, I give it. That was a very interesting and realistic scene. But then they themselves go off to find Emma after all this magic weirdness happens at their apartment complex with Dante's grandmother. So then they eventually find these kids called Los Niños, who are guardians of the rift that tends to be opened to lead into the void on the solstice. So the 3rd quarter solstice is what it kept getting referenced constantly. So eventually monsters attack them. Dante's taken away. Paola eventually finds her way to the rift using a key flashlight. And, they eventually find Marissa as part of the Niños, the girl who disappeared. She had joined them. There's this guy, Franco, that is a part of the Niños who had disappeared while trying to fight against the monsters to close the rift. But then there's this ghost girl called Ondina, who visits Paola in her dreams all the time, and then she's connected to the rift. So then eventually Paola gets to the rift to try to find Dante, to try to find Emma. She faces off against Odina, who happens to be the daughter of La Llorona. And then there's this whole mother-daughter battles, and there's whole Paola and Ghost Girl battles, and Paola and La Llorona battles, and then eventually she finds Dante and Emma and Franco all together, a part of this ritual that La Llorona is performing to give life back to Odonia, because she is the one who took the life away from her daughter. It was interesting. The void was powered by this magical giant green freshwater pearl that then broke everything once Paola, smashed it. And then everyone gets to escape once everything is settled, and Odina, crosses over, and the monsters go away, and La Llorona goes away. Franco goes back to leading Los Niños, and then Dante, Emma, and Paola come up with a fake story to tell their parents that, they got lost in the cactus field. Half this book was being lost in the cactus field. This is 350 pages long. I started this book in August when I got it. I could not read it fast because it was so boring up until the last quarter of the book. And again, I feel terrible saying this because this book had so much potential. Look at this cover art. Of course, you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but look at this cover art, and you tell me as a horror fan that you're not going to be joyfully reading this, because this is like pure poetic justice. This triple effect right here, right? Of creepy, of spooky. We're what is this? It's September 16th when I'm recording this. We're spooky season right now. 45 days left till Halloween. Yeah, so I did not like this book. I should have loved this book. I feel bad that I didn't like this book, but the last quarter of this book I did enjoy. I will say that. The first 75% of the book I did not like. So the next book in the Rick Riordan Presents series that I have to read is the final Stormrunner book. What is it called? Shadow Crosser? I cannot wait. I've preached multiple times how much I love Stormrunner, how much I love Firekeeper. Shadow Crosser is going to be incredible, and it is the final book. I skipped ahead. I read the last page. It does say Elfine. I'm already crying, but I got to read that, because then we got the final Trials of Apollo book, The Tower of Nero, coming out October 6th. We also have the next Tristan Strong book coming out October 6th, but the Apollo book is the last book in the Percy Jackson universe. Percy Jackson stories, because we know that the Rick Riordan books are a part of the Rick Riordan universe, so. But I'm already crying at the end of Apollo, so we shall see what happens. That's it. That's all I got. Short review. I didn't like this book. I'm sorry. Because I'm a big horror fan, this did not meet my horror expectations of the story of La Llorona being pitched as the main character villain when you don't see her until 75% into the book. I'm not about that. No. Lo siento, mi amigos. Mi amigos? I don't know. I'm sorry. Rambling. That's all I got. Mucho mahalo.